She was just 18, pregnant with her first child, and terrified of the man she thought she loved. Before she vanished, Kylee Monteiro whispered a chilling warning to her sister. "If I die, it was Greg." 2 weeks later, police would discover her body inside her boyfriend's home. The truth about what happened to Kylee is darker, more brutal, and more heartbreaking than anyone could have imagined. This is the story of a young life cut short, of warnings ignored, and of a tragedy that should have never happened. It was early August 2025 in Rehoboth, Massachusetts, a quiet town where neighbors knew each other by name, where life rarely made headlines. For 18-year-old Kylee Monteiro, life should have been just beginning. She was weeks away from becoming a mother. Friends described her as hopeful, determined, and excited to welcome her baby into the world. But beneath her smile, there were secrets she kept close, fears she only shared with the people she trusted most. Kylee had been in a turbulent relationship with Gregory Groom, a 20-year-old man who, on the surface, appeared calm, charming even. But behind closed doors, Kylee saw a darker side: his temper, his control, his jealousy, and Kylee began to sense something wasn't right. On August 6, 2025, just one day before she vanished, Kylee confided in a friend, "I don't feel safe." Later that same evening, she texted her sister, a message so haunting, so prophetic, it would echo in courtrooms and news reports long after her death. Backhand index pointing right, "If I die, it was Greg." No one knew just how serious her words were. No one knew that time was running out. On August 7th, Kylee disappeared. She didn't return home. She didn't answer her phone. Her family called friends, drove the streets, and prayed she was safe. But with every passing hour, their fear grew heavier. Her mother reported her missing, and almost instantly, suspicion turned to the man Kylee had named in her final warning: Gregory Groom. Police knocked on his door. He insisted he didn't know where Kylee was. He claimed she must have gone off on her own. But something about his story didn't add up. His tone was cold, detached, almost rehearsed. And so began the desperate search for Kylee Monteiro, a young mother-to-be who had tried to tell the world who her killer would be. The first 24 hours of a missing persons case are always the most crucial. For Kylee Monteiro's family, those hours were filled with dread, confusion, and a sense that something terrible had already happened. Kylee wasn't the kind of teenager to disappear without warning. She was 18, yes, still young, still learning about the world, but she was also expecting a baby. She had responsibilities now, and her family knew she wouldn't just vanish. Her mother's voice cracked when she reported her missing. Her sister replayed Kylie's haunting message over and over in her head: "If I die, it was Greg." Those words weren't just paranoia. They weren't just the fears of a young woman in a toxic relationship. They were a direct accusation. And now, Kylee was gone. Police wasted no time. Detectives interviewed friends and family. They asked about Kylie's relationship with Gregory Groom. What was he like? Did he ever hurt her? Did she ever say she was afraid? The answers were almost unanimous. Yes. Kylee had confided in multiple people that she was afraid of Greg. He was controlling, jealous, and unpredictable. More than once, she had tried to leave him, but something always pulled her back. Fear, pressure, the hope that he might change. When police questioned Gregory directly, his story was strange. He said he hadn't seen Kylee, that she left after an argument. But detectives noticed things. The way he avoided eye contact, the way he stumbled over his words. Neighbors also began whispering. Some recalled shouting late at night. Others said they'd seen Kylee looking distressed in the days before she vanished. The media quickly picked up the story. Pregnant teen missing in Massachusetts. Local news stations broadcast Kylie's picture across the state. Her round face, her soft smile, the unmistakable glow of a young mother-to-be. Candlelight vigils were organized. Flyers were posted on telephone poles, gas stations, and convenience stores. Friends of Kylee walked the streets with flashlights, calling her name into the night. But the silence was deafening, and as the search stretched into days, the suspicion around Gregory Groom only deepened. Police began to track his movements, monitor his calls, and quietly build a case. Kylie's family held on to hope, but deep down, her sister couldn't shake the memory of that text message. It felt less like a warning and more like a goodbye. By the second week of Kylie's disappearance, the Monteiro family knew in their hearts what they had been dreading. Kylee wasn't coming home. Still, they prayed. Still, they searched. Still, they clung to the smallest flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, she would walk through the front door with her unborn child safe inside her. But on August 19, 2025, that hope was shattered. Acting on growing suspicions, police returned to Gregory Groom's home. Detectives had noted inconsistencies in his statements. His behavior had grown more erratic, and forensic evidence was beginning to point directly to him. What they found inside was every mother's nightmare. In a back room of the house, hidden, but not well enough, were the remains of Kylee Monteiro. The scene was brutal. Kylee had been stabbed multiple times. The violence was so frenzied, so savage, that one of the blades had broken off inside her chest. Investigators would later reveal that the broken piece of steel was still lodged near her heart when they found her. For detectives, it was confirmation. For her family, it was devastation. And for the world, it was the cruel validation of Kylie's final warning. Backhand index pointing right, if I die, it was Greg. The unborn baby she carried was gone too. 2 lives ended in a single act of violence. Police led Gregory Groom away in handcuffs. As cameras flashed outside the house, neighbors watched silently, some with tears, others with anger. Kylie's family received the news no one ever wants to hear. Her mother collapsed. Her sister screamed. A life of promise, a daughter, a sister, a young mother-to-be, ripped away in the cruelest of ways. The discovery made headlines nationwide. News anchors spoke with urgency, describing the young girl who foresaw her own death. True crime forums buzzed with outrage. Domestic violence advocates cried out, why didn't anyone protect her? And as investigators pieced together the timeline, the chilling truth began to emerge. Kylee Monteiro had been living on borrowed time. From the outside, Gregory Groom looked like any other 20-year-old in Rehoboth. He worked odd jobs. He hung out with friends. He kept mostly to himself. To strangers, he was quiet, unremarkable, forgettable even. But for those who knew him, the truth was much darker. Neighbors had heard shouting late at night. Some recalled seeing Kylee leave his house in tears. Friends whispered about Gregory's temper, how he would explode over the smallest things. A text message not answered quickly enough. A conversation with another man. Even the idea of Kylee spending too much time with her family could set him off. Behind closed doors, Gregory was controlling. He wanted Kylee isolated, dependent on him. The pregnancy, instead of softening him, only made his behavior worse. He became more paranoid, more aggressive. Court records revealed a disturbing history. Past run-ins with the law, accusations of violence, and a pattern of manipulation. But none of it had stopped him. No one had seen the full picture until it was too late. When police interrogated him after Kylie's body was found, Gregory showed little remorse. He insisted it wasn't planned. He said he just lost control. But the sheer brutality of the crime told another story, one of rage, resentment, and cold-blooded violence. Prosecutors wasted no time in filing charges. Murder, assault and battery on a pregnant victim, assault and battery on a family or household member, aggravated witness intimidation. At his arraignment, Gregory stood in court, head down, shackled, and entered a plea of not guilty. The words stunned the courtroom. Kylie's family sat just feet away, tears streaming down their faces, as the man accused of killing their daughter, the same man she had named in her final warning, refused to admit what he had done. Outside the courthouse, crowds gathered with signs, "Justice for Kylee." Candlelight vigils spread beyond Rehoboth, reaching other towns, other communities. Kylie's face, her youthful smile, her glowing pregnancy, became a symbol of a stolen future. People asked the same haunting question. How many red flags were ignored? The courthouse in Fall River, Massachusetts, was packed. Journalists lined the benches, cameras clustered outside, and every seat in the gallery was filled with members of the community who wanted to see justice for Kylee Monteiro. On one side sat Kylie's family, her mother, her sister, her relatives, their faces etched with pain. On the other side, guarded by deputies, was Gregory Groom. His head was lowered, his face expressionless, as if the weight of what he had done still hadn't sunk in. But the prosecution was ready to make sure it did. From the very start, the case was presented as one of premeditated violence, fueled by control and rage. Prosecutors outlined Gregory's abusive behavior, his obsession with Kylee, and her chilling final words. "If I die, it was Greg." Those words were read aloud in court. The gallery went silent. Kylie's mother broke down, sobbing into her hands. Even the judge paused, letting the weight of those words settle over the room. Detectives testified to what they found inside Gregory's home: the broken knife, the stab wounds, so many that the medical examiner could hardly count them all. The blade still lodged in Kylie's chest. This was not a momentary lapse, the prosecutor said firmly. This was an act of rage, cruelty, and domination. He didn't just kill Kylee. He silenced her, and he silenced the life of her unborn child. The defense tried to paint a different picture. They claimed Gregory lost control, that it was a crime of passion, not premeditated murder. They asked the court to consider his youth, his troubled background. But the evidence was overwhelming. Photos of the crime scene, forensic reports, Kylie's text messages, where she confided in friends that she was scared, and, of course, the text to her sister, her final prophecy. Each piece of evidence chipped away at the defense's claims, leaving Gregory's "not guilty" plea sounding more hollow with every passing day. At one point, Kylie's sister took the stand. Through tears, she described the night she got that message. "If I die, it was Greg." She told the jury how her heart sank, how she wanted to believe it was just fear talking. But now, sitting in the courtroom, she realized it had been the truth all along. Jurors shifted in their seats, some visibly shaken. And through it all, Gregory sat stone-faced. No apology, no remorse, no flicker of humanity for the young woman and unborn child whose lives he ended. The trial was more than just the pursuit of justice. It was a confrontation between truth and lies, between grief and denial, between a family's heartbreak and a killer's silence. And as the closing arguments approached, everyone in that courtroom knew one thing: Kylee had warned them. And now, the jury would decide whether her warning would finally be heard. The courtroom was silent, but the tension was loud. Every seat was filled, neighbors, reporters, classmates of Kylee, all drawn to see whether the justice system would deliver what her grieving family so desperately needed. Brandon Montel, the man accused of taking Kylee's life, sat stiff in his chair, his face unreadable. Prosecutors painted him as a controlling, jealous man who viewed Kylee not as a partner, but as property. They presented evidence, text messages showing his obsessive monitoring, testimony from friends who described how Kylee had been trying to break free. But the most damning evidence came from the night of her death. Surveillance cameras captured Brandon's car circling Kylee Street, minutes before neighbors reported a loud fight. And then there was the chilling detail: Kylie's phone found smashed in a ditch, as though someone had wanted her voice silenced forever. The defense tried to spin it. They claimed Brandon and Kylee were still in love, that her death was a tragic accident born from a heated argument. They asked the jury to see doubt where the evidence drew a clear line. But the jury saw through it. After hours of deliberation, the verdict was delivered: guilty of murder. As the word rang out, Kylee's mother collapsed into tears. Some jurors wiped their own eyes, shaken by the weight of what they had just decided. Brandon, on the other hand, sat motionless, his expression cold, as though he still couldn't believe control had finally slipped from his hands. But for all the relief the verdict brought, it wasn't closure. Kylee's chair at the family table was still empty. Her dreams of college, of becoming a nurse, of building a life beyond her small town, all of it ended. Justice had spoken, but healing would take far longer. The case left scars on the community too. Parents looked at their daughters differently, more cautiously. Schools began holding assemblies about warning signs of abusive relationships. And friends who once shrugged off jealous boyfriends began to understand the danger behind those words. Kylie's name became more than a headline. It became a lesson. A reminder that control disguised as love is not love at all. That jealousy is not passion, but poison. And that sometimes the most dangerous place for a young woman is standing too close to someone who swears they love her. But one haunting question still lingers. Could Kylee have been saved if someone had seen the signs sooner? Her story forces us to ask ourselves, how many more young women are out there, right now, trapped in the same deadly cycle? Like and subscribe. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comment section, because silence protects no one.